This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. But here now the news for January 29th, 2024. Of course, on Friday marked the end of the original Country Bear Jamboree at the Magic Kingdom, and it was a weird one. Number one, obviously, throughout the day, the shows were a bit wild, a little more wild and woolly than they usually are, and that people kind of turned it into the Rocky Horror Picture Show a bit. Everyone's singing along, saying their favorite lines of the show and such. And so we expected it would be a rowdy closing to the attraction during its final show. Well, the final show didn't happen as planned. In fact, a couple hours before closing time, Henry and Liverlips, who shared a turntable, decided to stop working, as you're seeing in the footage you're looking at now. We were in what ended up being the last show ever of the original Country Bears. It wasn't planned to be, but because Henry and Liverlips stopped working, it was. So by hook or by crook, I got to be in the last show of Country Bears. But the sad thing is, then, of course, there was a very long line that went all the way back to Pirates of the Caribbean while people waited for the show to reopen. And Disney, to their best, tried to reopen the attraction and could not by park closing time at 11 o'clock. So instead, what they did was guests were allowed to walk through the lobby and through the show itself. A nice little touch was two cast members in the lobby pretty much performed the whole show. They were singing all the songs, which is amazing because one of them I know had been there all day long. But man, they kept the energy up and did the best they could with the circumstances. Guests were allowed to take photos throughout the theater. And then they were given what was supposed to be a cast member only giveaway. They were given a poster for the Country Bear Musical Jamboree, the new show. This poster had been given out in the utilidors earlier in the day to cast members. But again, thankfully, everyone who was in line, who waited to see one last Country Bear show and didn't get to, at least got to get this. They got to take a picture and get this. And Disney, they tried their best, I will say. You know, it wasn't a fairy tale ending for the original Country Bear show, but if you were in any of the shows all day on Friday, they were all magical. Like, people were so into it, cheering for the Bears, especially this guy over here. It was real heartwarming. I teared up a couple times. Of course, you know, I won't repeat history again, but we have a very special connection to the Country Bears here at WDWNT, and it was an emotional day, I think, because of it for us. So thank you to everybody who showed up to say farewell. Thank you to everyone who celebrated with us from home, and everyone who said hello to me on Friday at the park. Appreciate it. And nonetheless, we move forward, and now a sign teasing the new Country Bear Musical Jamboree version of the show has been installed outside the attraction. Of course, the Country Bear Jamboree was an opening day attraction at the Magic Kingdom back in 1971, closed on Friday. And we talked about that final show, but the entrance is now roped off. The new teaser sign is hung on the center posts, like the old, there was sort of a resin poster thing on both of these before, but the new Country Bear Musical Jamboree is set to debut this summer after the attraction undergoes a lengthy refurbishment and changes are made. The full extent of changes is unknown at this time, but it will feature new music as well as at least one returning song. And a permit was filed earlier this year for updates to the audio-visual system as well. I will tell you this, a little bit of inside information. We know that all the animatronics are essentially going to be rebuilt. And I've heard the word on the street is that if you've ever sat under Melvin, Buff, and Max, the three stuffed heads on the wall, you know they make a lot of clicking noises throughout the show. The word on the street is they are rebuilding them in a way where that will be a thing of the past, which is a great thing to hear. It's nice to hear that the Bears will get a lot of TLC during this time. Anyway, that sign on the exterior reads, "Bear with us, we're rehearsing a brand new show," with Grizzly Hall established 1898 above. And at first, the blank minutes until our next show sign was still in place when we arrived on Saturday morning, but cast members removed it while we were there. They turned the sign, so they removed the magnet, I think, so that it would not show anything. And guests wouldn't think there's a showtime coming. In the meantime, though, please note the pressed penny machine with the Country Bears remains unchanged at this time. It's now outside of the attraction. It does feature Liverlips McGraw, whose name will change to Romeo McGraw in the new iterations. You may want to grab those pennies sooner rather than later. Of course, if you want to learn the full history of the Country Bear Jamboree, we have a new video, a 30-minute video right here on the channel that we put together. Billy edited it. I put the script together, and I think it's a good time. So please go check it out if you haven't. I think it's a great way to learn about the Country Bears. The Vice President of Hospitality Sales and Marketing for Hilton Head Sea Pines Resort has been placed on administrative leave after he was arrested at Walt Disney World for drunkenly slapping a teenage cast member. Sea Pines Resort spokesperson Karen Morgan confirmed to the Island Packet and the Beaufort Gazette that John Monroe, age 64, was placed on administrative leave amid review of this personal matter. Monroe was charged with a misdemeanor battery and pleaded not guilty after an incident on November 19th at Citricos at the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. You may remember we talked about this on the last show. Citricos has a dress code stating guests are expected to dress accordingly in attire that respects the restaurant's sophisticated and upscale aesthetic. Clothing should be clean, neat, and in good condition. Please no swimwear. And wouldn't you know, Monroe showed up to his reservation wearing swimwear and a t-shirt. Cast member told him he would not be able to sit with his family, who were dressed appropriately. Monroe said there was no problem and he wanted to wait with his family, but when their table was ready, he tried to join them. One member of Monroe's family told the cast member, "Please don't allow him to sit with us. He is really drunk, underdressed. It's my birthday and I'm embarrassed." The cast member then told Monroe he wasn't allowed into the restaurant. Monroe slapped the 19-year-old cast member 3 times on her forehead as she stood in shock while she held onto the restaurant menus with both hands. The Orange County Sheriff's Office was called and arrested Monroe. The arrest report agreed that he appeared intoxicated and also noted that he constantly was repeating that he was going to sue Disney. Monroe was released on a $1,000 bond the next morning. His attorneys have not responded to requests for comment. The other wild thing, I've now heard from multiple people, this is not confirmed at this point, but multiple people have told us this, that his daughter is a cast member at Walt Disney World. They won't reveal a role because I don't want to call that out. I think that's personal information. But the fact that he has family, young family that works at Walt Disney World, and he did this to a 19-year-old cast member, I didn't think that story could be more gross than it was last week. It is, but the silver lining is the guy has kind of gotten what he deserved here, so and rightfully so. Unbelievable. He works in the hospitality industry, and to do this to someone else that works in the hospitality industry is really totally uncalled for. But justice has been served. A new line of Disneyland Paris merchandise has arrived at EPCOT in Florida, of all places. The new Disneyland Paris merchandise collection is available in the France Pavilion, as you might imagine. This is brand new merchandise that was just released in Paris earlier in the month. It's kind of their new Paris-themed Disneyland park merchandise line for the year, but it is, for the moment at least, available at Walt Disney World as well. There are a number of projects happening right now at Disney's BoardWalk, including major construction and new dining options that are being built. Since our last look, decking has been installed on the roof of the Cake Bake Shop by Gwendolyn Rogers. The walls and dormer roofs are mostly covered in purple weatherproof sheathing right now. There are several openings in the walls which will be large windows. There's a square steel archway at what will be the table service restaurant's main entrance. There also isn't decking on the edge of the roof behind the archway just yet. The Cake Bake Shop will also include a bakery with an entrance to the right. The Cake Bake Shop is taking over the former ESPN Club, which permanently closed in 2022. The Cake Bake Shop is using the same basic structure, but the walls and roofs were all demolished to be rebuilt. Cake Bake Shop was originally scheduled to open in 2023, but was delayed to 2024. But in December, Rogers began hiring for the restaurant. Meanwhile, the future Blue Ribbon Corn Dog stand has seen a major transformation. The sign for the location's former occupant, the Boardwalk to Go, has been removed, and a new pastel yellow and blue color scheme has been painted on the exterior. This was originally set to open last year as well, but it will open sometime in 2024 as well. The menu is set to include both favorites from the Disneyland Resort location and some new options. So far, the announced items are the Mexican street corn dog, the pickle dog, the lemonade, strawberry lemonade, and fresh spun cotton candy. The first of the food trucks announced to offset the closing of Big River Grill and Brewing Works has arrived as well. Parked to the left of Jelly Rolls is App's food truck, offering a number of grab-and-go options. Meanwhile, the sign for Big River Grill and Brewing Works, which officially closed on January 22nd, has been removed. So far, no replacement for the space has been announced. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to beourguestvacations.com/WDWNT, and the team will design your next magical vacation, from the Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resorts to the Disney Cruise Line to Adventures by Disney and more. They're also able to book unforgettable VIP tours where you and your group can experience the ultimate park day. And the best part is their concierge services are 100% free so book today. 2 new castle projectors have been added at Disneyland Park, encased in large structures designed to match Sleeping Beauty Castle. The new projectors are present at the edge of the castle moat on both the Frontierland and Tomorrowland sides. As you can see, with the comparison to a person, the structures are very, very big. They're encased in quote-unquote brick to match the castle. They also have ventilation along the top to allow for the heat created by the projectors to escape. Again, so these are considerably bigger than the ones that were here previously. So they look real weird now because the little animals, the Sleeping Beauty style animals that are on the top of them were made for the old projector housing, which was smaller. It looked all right. Now it just looks like this very small owl is on the center of this very big box. They're kind of too big to be there. Considering the scale of that castle, these are just way too big. I understand, obviously, they want to keep up with projector technology for the shows that happen on the castle, but man, these just look so out of place. But let us know how you feel in the comments. It's weird. With the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland Park now closed for its grounds expansion, new themed walls have gone up around the attraction with lenticular art of the mansion's changing portraits. Many of the walls feature art by Imagineer Mark Davis, who created the art found inside the mansion's portrait gallery. The paintings have a lenticular effect, so they seem innocent, but change into something more haunting as you walk by. First up is Davis's Medusa portrait, and straight on she appears as a Grecian woman, but as you shift over, she turns into Medusa, of course, made of crumbling stone with snakes for hair. Next is the Black Prince portrait. At first he appears like a knight in battle. The portrait changes to a skeleton man riding a skeleton horse. April to December, of course, which is now inside the mansion as well, is featured out there too. Used to be more of a hidden reference, but it's in the mansion now. And finally, there's the Flying Dutchman portrait, which is a ship sailing the sea by day, and by night it has been struck by lightning and is being destroyed by a storm. It's kind of a ghost ship at that point. Also on the walls are quotes from the Ghost Host script that can be heard during the ride. 3 of the attraction's crypts with puns can be found on one of the wall panels as well. And guests are given the option to join in on the haunts by scanning a QR code that will send them to the Snapchat PhotoPass feature on the Disneyland app. Concept art for the grounds expansion could also be seen by guests walking by the walls. Of course, Haunted Mansion they haven't announced a reopening date, but it's expected that it will not reopen until September, and it will reopen as Haunted Mansion Holiday, and then we will not get regular Haunted Mansion back until sometime in early 2025 at Disneyland. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but of course they're building an exit store, new ADA elevators and such, and also this new grounds in the queue, which will have gardens themed to various characters from the attraction and will expand upon their lore. Next door, guests taking a ride on the Disneyland Railroad will have one less entry and exit point as the New Orleans Square Railroad Station is now closed for refurbishment. The walls are still up on the Radio House building that caught fire in December of 2022, but now additional walls are up on the platform. The Disneyland Railroad is currently operating as normal, making stops at all 4 stations, Main Street, New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland. However, when the train stops at New Orleans Square, guests are advised to remain seated as no one can enter or exit the station. The reason the trains continue to stop at New Orleans Square Station despite it being closed is so that locomotives can take on water and so that the 3 trains on the line remain evenly spaced out. The walls wrap around the back of Tiana's Palace and continue all the way around to the Haunted Mansion work walls featuring the attraction's changing portraits we just talked about. A sign notifying guests of the closure reads, New Orleans Square Railroad Station is currently unavailable. To enjoy the Disneyland Railroad, please visit Mickey's Toontown, Tomorrowland, or Main Street USA. ADA accessible stations are located at Mickey's Toontown and Tomorrowland. So this is definitely related to what's going on at the mansion as well. It's a lot of work out there, and I guess it's affecting the Disneyland Railroad Station as well. The Year of the Dragon has arrived at Disney California Adventure with the start of the Lunar New Year Festival. And while you're spending your time visiting the park, meeting special characters, and collecting all the merchandise, don't forget that there's a ton of specialty food available throughout the park as well. And to help you sift through what's new and what's old, we've created a guide to all of the new food and beverage items available for the festival. You can read that at DisneylandNewsToday.com as well. Allie and Arlo were nice enough to film their review of everything new. It's right here on the channel. Please go give it a watch if you haven't watched it. It'll be very helpful. With the 2024 Lunar New Year celebration in full swing at Disneyland Resort, and for the first time ever, it's also in full swing at the Grand Californian Hotel in the lobby. One display in the lobby features 3 It's a Small World dolls dressed in traditional Lunar New Year outfits. You'll get a Chinese doll here wearing I apologize if I butcher this, a qipao, which is a traditionally worn item for Chinese New Year and other special occasions. It's red, which is the color that symbolizes good luck. The Vietnamese doll is shown wearing a traditional áo dai with a matching headpiece. Áo dai are worn by both men and women for special occasions, including Tet, also known as Vietnamese New Year. The Korean doll in the display is depicted as wearing a hanbok, which is a traditional attire worn for special occasions, and the seolal, it's Korean New Year. The doll holds apologize for this one, a bak jumyeoni, which is a traditional Korean lucky bag that holds gifts of money. As usual, put those corrections in the comments, please. I'm sure I've offended people already. A red and gold divider is also set in the lobby, roped off with stanchions. Guests can utilize this as a photo op, though cast members told us this could potentially be a space for performers. The Grand Californian Great Hall Cart also has some Lunar New Year treats available. We spotted a Year of the Dragon cookie featuring mushu, as well as some icing-covered pretzel sticks. A limited edition tea set was also available for purchase for $85. Here the set is paired with a box of red and yellow macarons. The ultimate display piece is, of course, the giant red and gold dragon hanging overhead. The dragon fully extends the length of the lobby, towering overhead as guests relax beneath. The dragon's face features red and gold fuzzy accents, white teeth, and a long golden beard. The 2024 Lunar New Year celebration is taking place at Disneyland Resort through February 18th. In addition to enjoying delicious eats from festival marketplaces, guests, of course, can also meet Mei Lin and Ming Li from Turning Red. You can watch that right here on the channel, actually. And as well, you can watch Hurry Home, the pre-show for World of Color 1. Of course, the festival includes much, much more, including the Lunar New Year processional with Mulan, which, guess what, folks, you could also watch right here on the channel. Did you know there's a way you can save big at Disney Deluxe Resorts? Well, DVC Rental Store offers a great way for you to plan a luxury Disney vacation on a modest budget, and you don't have to be a DVC member because you can rent the points you need for a magical stay. The rooms are discounted up to 75% off rack rate, and with their lowest price guarantee, you'll always have the best price on the market. They have the largest member inventory for points, so there are lots of choices, and you could search their availability. And DVC Rental Store is the only company that offers this service for free. And if you do choose to book, they also have a flexible cancellation policy and low upfront payment. I've used them often. You may remember post-COVID, we stayed at every Disney hotel room at Walt Disney World. That was by using DVC Rental Store. That was before they were ever a sponsor. We used them many, many times, and I'm a big fan. So head on over to dvcrentalstore.com/WDWNT today. Just a few days ahead of its grand opening at Disneyland Resort, the soundtrack for the reimagined Pixar Place Hotel is now available on music streaming services. Disney fans can now listen to 10 new arrangements of classic Pixar songs that are created especially for the hotel. The soundtrack is available for streaming on Apple Music, Spotify, and other major streaming platforms. The cover for the soundtrack includes the artwork of the giant pop art character mobiles that can be found in the lobby. The Pixar Place Hotel soundtrack includes the following songs from Pixar films. There's The In Credits by Cartographer from The Incredibles, Remember Me by Chantry Johnson for Coco, Define Dancing by Brian Tan, which is from WALL-E, Nobody Like You by Last Trip to the Moon from Turning Red, Married Life by PK and the Heavyweights from Up, Bundle of Joy by Tomas Kovacs and Terry Joyner, that's from Inside Out, Le Festin by Asher Yilo, that's from Ratatouille, there's You've Got a Friend in Me by John Wilhelm and Keegan Jones from Toy Story, Touch the Sky from Brave by Simon Oscroft, and Born to Play from Soul by Jin-Tae Ko. I think this is fantastic that they did a bunch of original music. I'm always a big fan of them doing original music for any project, but the fact that the hotel got 10 tracks is great, and they're all different artists, so a lot of effort went into this, and I have high hopes for this project. We're filming this Sunday night because Monday morning I'm heading out to go cover the opening of the Pixar Place Hotel. We have 2 different room types booked, so I'm gonna bring you room tours. We'll bring you a full tour of the hotel. We might do a vlog even. So stay tuned for lots of coverage from the brand new Pixar Place Hotel, which will open officially on Tuesday, but we'll have the room tour early for you. Anyway. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. Quick plug for Park Candy, who provided my outfit today. You go to Park Candy. It's WDWNT.link/Park Candy is the way to get your Park Candy merchandise while also supporting WDWNT. And you can use the code WDWNT to save 15% on your purchase as well. And we thank Park Candy for the continued support. And don't worry, we are going to have WDWNT and Park Candy collaborations coming in the future. So stay tuned. They're going to happen. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to all of our WIGS members watching who make this show happen every week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Now on WDWNT TV, it's Boxed In. Boxed In is a casually chaotic show featuring WDWNT personalities Eric Morton and Jill Diffendahl, unboxing Disney merchandise and viewer packages, along with a few friends and a bossy little Pomeranian. So smash that like button, subscribe and comment, and keep up with the new Disney merchandise releases, seasonal releases, festival merchandise, limited edition merchandise, wishables, pins, and more. Join us Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern on WDWNT TV.